What's going on, everyone? Peter here with One Guy, One Globe, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving a full breakdown of all of the decks from deck 2 all the way to deck 20 and everything in between. All that's coming up. But first, I invite you guys to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me know I'm bringing great travel-related content to you, and it lets me know that you guys want to see more of Royal Caribbean, especially Icon of the Seas. In my last video, it got really close to 7,000 views very quickly, and over 99% were not subscribed. So it really helps me know that my channel is improving and bringing you guys the best content. And without further ado, let's head straight into the video. Alright guys, so starting with deck 20. Deck 20 is just going to be the top of the water slides. You're going to have the two towers that you walk up the stairs and then leads off to your launch points for 3 slides here and then the other 3 slides here. These are your family tube slides. These are your mat racers. Deck 19 is strictly just the sun deck. This is basically where you're going to have a whole bunch of lounge chairs and just people relaxing who have suites. Followed by deck 18, you're going to have some suite access as well as the Grove Suite Sun Deck. This is going to be your private pool and the whirlpool and basically open space here with some lounge chairs as well as under the atrium here as well. So that's basically deck 18 and 19 as well as 20. More or less, it's just going to be for the suites unless you are taking the water slides. Coming over to deck 17, I'm going to start at the back end of the ship or the aft end. You have your sports court. This is going to be your basketball court, your volleyball court, your dodgeball, that sort of thing. Quite a bit of teens and youth you'll find around into this space here. You have your Cloud 17 as well as the pool and the Lime and Coconut. This is going to be your infinity pool off to the side of the ship. This is going to be adults only, well 16 plus only in this space here. Leading off to some more suites as well as the Coastal Kitchen. Coastal Kitchen is for suite guests only, and it is located on decks 17 and deck 16. So I'll start back up at the front on deck 16. You have some more suites off to the side as well as the Coastal Kitchen. Coming across, you lead into Chill Island, which has the Lime and Coconut as well as the new Swim and Tonic. This is the swim up bar. You can see the little stools in the water here. This, I have a feeling, is going to be a very popular destination on board Royal Caribbean, especially with them going into the Caribbean, those more hot summer or even hot spring days. This will be a very popular destination, I have that feeling. Moving off into the more mid-aft of the ship, you have the Crown's Edge. This is that walk the plank and let the floor drop below you as you glide back onto the ship and back over to safety. So that's going to be the Crown's Edge. Leading off into the back of the ship, you have the Adrenaline Peak, which is going to be your water slides are located right here. Well, these are the exits for the water slides as well as the Flow Rider, and you have your classic mini golf at the back of the ship. Now, there are a couple dining establishments here as well as a bar that haven't been listed what they're going to be called or what the options are going to be. More likely, those are just going to be something new to Royal Caribbean. And then we're going to lead down to deck 15. I'll keep at the back of the ship for that new feature, which is the Hideaway Pool and just the Hideaway itself. There is a bar located there. I'm assuming it's just going to be called the Hideaway Bar. You have your Infinity Pool that just leads off to the back of the ship. This is just going to be ocean on this side here. And then you have your massive Windjammer Buffet. So typically speaking, for the Windjammer, for anyone who's never been on a Royal Caribbean ship, it may seem absolutely massive, but basically what you see on this side is what you're going to see on this side. They're just mirrored themselves for good weight and balance of the ship, but it allows for just, if you come in, you can come in on this side and you'll get the same thing as on this side. And usually depending on as they're ramping up service at the start of, like, say, breakfast or at the start of lunch, they'll open up one side and then gradually open the other as the other one gets busy, that sort of thing. Moving into the more center aft portion of the ship, you have your classic El Loco Fresh. This is where you can get your nachos, your burritos, your fresh tacos, that sort of thing, as well as the Cantina Fresca. Then you have the Royal Bay Pool. This is that absolutely massive new, well, it's not a new, but it's the world's largest pool at sea. It is absolutely huge. This spot here is going to be more lounge into shallow water, as well as you have your classic deep water, and then you have the Cove Pool off to the side here. You have Sprinklers, which is just going to be another dining establishment. It's probably going to be quick bites to eat, as well as the Lime and Coconut kind of encompasses 2 different parts onto the ship here. Table tennis all located onto the pool deck, and then located more into the front of the ship, You have Hooked Seafood. Now, this is one of my most favorite specialty dining on Royal Caribbean. I absolutely love it, and this looks like a huge space for it. Now, onto the other side, this is Mysterious Specialty Dining number 1. Don't know what's going to go here. I have a feeling it's going to be a specialty dining. Like, it just only makes sense that this space would be used for it. It's something that Royal hasn't announced yet, but this is Mystery Dining number 1. Then you also have the Aquadome. This is another of the neighborhoods within the Icon of the Seas. This is the Aqua Theater. Now, for most who are familiar with the Oasis class that have the Aqua Theater at the aft end of the ship, this is located at the front of the ship, and basically it's all indoors. A lot of the elements of the weather are not impacting for the divers or the performers of the show itself. So it's nice that they've included it into the front and included it into the front, as well as made it indoors for the safety of those performers. Now, the other unique thing with this is it has that infinity waterfall for anyone who's been to like Singapore Airport or LaGuardia as an example. That is just amazing what they can do with a waterfall like that, and just the features that they can implement with it. So I'm really looking forward to that. So that's deck 15. Deck 14 though is a little bit basically of the same. So you're gonna have the top end of the Aquadome. This is gonna be a bar, or sorry, the bottom end. This is just gonna be a lounge space and a bar. Then it's gonna lead off to the Vitality Spa and Cafe, as well as to dry for. Then it's just gonna be staterooms. Located all on deck 14. Deck 12 is going to be the same. All staterooms, and then the Vitality Spa. So the Vitality Spa does encompass 2 decks itself, so it is going to be absolutely huge on the Icon class of ships. Now, decks 11, actually I should go back to that. Deck 14 and deck 12. There is no deck 13 on Icon. Now, deck 11 and deck 10 are just strictly staterooms. You have your interiors, then you have your spacious ocean view, and then your classic ocean view balconies, then your large spacious ocean view balconies, and then your suites off to the back end. Deck 9 is just going to be the same thing, just a whole bunch of staterooms, as well as the grand suites in the middle here, as well as at the back. Now, deck 9 is going to be the top of that ultimate family townhouse suite. It is huge. So this is the top end here. Then you lead down to deck 8. This is the next level. But deck 8 also includes another area that is going to be one of my favorites as well. This is more of my favorites at night to walk through this. It's just a unique experience for anyone who's been on the Oasis class ships and experienced Central Park. But when you're at sea, under the stars, it's that nice, like, calm air night kind of thing, and just walking through nice living green space is absolutely just a very calming space to be in. Now, you have, again, Mystery Dining number 2, which is located here at the front end of the Central Park. Don't know what this one's going to be yet. Now, we don't have a Wonderland. We don't have a 150 Central Park. We don't have a Mason Jar. We don't have a Jamie's, and we don't have a Johnny Rockets on this ship. However, those are all new, those are not new to Royal Caribbean, so I don't know. Maybe they haven't fully decided what they're going to put there, or it's just going to be something completely new. But you do have your classic Chops Grill, your Izumi Hibachi and Sushi, which is another one of my favorites as well. You have Park Cafe, and then another bar here that's a mystery bar that we don't really know for sure exactly what's going in there quite yet. But that's basically deck 8. Now, leading down to deck 7, actually, it's to start back. Deck 8 is the top end of the Pearl, which we still don't know what that actually is, as well as deck 7 includes the Pearl. Now, this is where you're going to have our other neighborhood, which is Surfside. This is where a lot of the families are going to spend, and this is that bottom end of the ultimate family townhouse right here. But when it comes down to Surfside, we do have 2 dining establishments that we don't really know exactly what they're going to be. Now, in the renderings themselves, this one looks more of like a food court style, so it might be a little bit more of a buffet kind of thing. You have Sugar Beach, which is the candy store. The classic arcade. Now, for parents, keep in mind the arcade is not cheap. Preload the cards for your kids with early in advance. You can get a little bit of a discount and let them go spend that on there, but otherwise that can really rack up quick for the credit card itself. But these dining establishments here, I have a feeling, are going to be very more kid-oriented kind of thing, since you have the splashaway bay here. You do have the Water's Edge pool, which is more for the adults. This is another infinity pool, similar to the one at the Hideaway. And then another bar on this side here. So the bar itself will obviously serve drinks for kids, as well as the drinks for the adults who have to watch over the kids in that area, so the fun drinks. So that's basically encompassing deck 7. Moving down to deck 6, I'll start at the back aft end of the ship. So one of the important things to note, this is the entrance to Absolute Zero, which we'll talk about on decks 5 and deck 4. But you have the Adventure Ocean with the entrance more towards the elevators. Adventure Ocean is for your young kids and basically where you can take your toddlers and whatnot to let them be there, have their fun while the adults enjoy their time on the ship. Then you also have Playmakers, a sports bar and arcade. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, Playmakers is your classic sports bar that will play the games, that sort of thing on the screens. However, the food options there are a little bit of an upcharge. The campfire cookie is absolutely delicious, as well as the pulled pork nachos. I absolutely love both of them. And if you do have the ultimate dining package, you do get a $20 credit for every time you go there. Then moving into more of the center, this is where the Pearl obviously is going to have its main steps leading up into the the Pearl Cafe. And then you have Giovanni's Italian Kitchen and Wine Bar, the Schooner Bar, and Boleros. These are staples of Royal Caribbean for anyone who hasn't been on before. You have the attic, as well as, I'm not really sure what this space is going to be right here, but it's going to be a entertainment place. They haven't really announced what this is though. Escape room and a diamond club at the front here, as well as you have the fitness center. It's unique that they put the escape room basically right into the Royal Promenade. I have a feeling this one will be a very popular one and a very more interactive one, I'm hoping, because on Navigator it was really good. So that they're putting it more front and center is a good placement for it compared to where it's been on some of the other ships. So that is deck 5. That is the top end of the Royal Promenade. Now, actually, this is going to be the stairs for the Pearl here on deck 5. So the Pearl is so big that it comes up deck 5, deck 6, deck 7, and deck 8. Going back to deck 5, though, I'll start off at the Pearl. This is where the stairs are going to lead up to that Pearl Cafe, though. You're going to have your embarkation area in the bar. This is where you're going to come in initially when you board the ship in Miami. You're going to have your classic English pub at the Point and Feather, the Crown and Anchor Society, the Next Cruise desk. So anyone who is looking at booking another cruise while on board, Next Cruise is always an option for you. If you haven't already been on board and are looking at it, just book it now. It's a lot easier to then change your reservation later and guarantee you that rate. Now, you also have your guest services and Voom service desk located across from the Point and Feather, as well as some retail. There are a couple retail spaces as usual on Royal Caribbean here in the Promenade. They just haven't really said what they're going to be quite yet. They probably haven't really sorted out those contracts yet with those vendors. Then you have the dining room. This is the first floor leading down. There's going to be decks 5, deck 4, and deck 3. Which is pretty classic for Royal Caribbean, as well as those stairs that were originally on deck 6 leading down to Absolute Zero are leading into right here. This is that space with the giant ice rink with the performers that play off of here. So it's on deck 5, and deck 4 is more seating as well. So this is the upper bowl seating, and then there are some lower bowl seating there for the Absolute Zero. And then you just have your running chat that leads around. That leads off into, let's go back to there we go. That leads off around the Royal Theater and across to the Fitness Center. Now, the Fitness Center does encompass both deck 6 and deck 5. Deck 6 is more probably just going to be a long hallway leading into an entrance that leads down the stairs into the Fitness Center. However, this is a massive space compared to most ships have for a Fitness Center, so I'm really looking forward to actually being able to check that out compared to some of the other ships that are on the fleet. Into deck 4. It leads off into the Royal Theater. Off to the front, you have your music hall, and then you have your classic ocean view staterooms lining off to the side, as well as some interior rooms here. These rooms, I have a feeling, might get a little loud with the bar being right behind. So for anyone who is going to be looking at those lower decks, just keep in mind for these staterooms here. Then you have your casino. This is probably the world's largest casino at sea. It is absolutely gigantic. And another feature that I haven't seen on a cruise ship before are escalators from decks 2 and deck 5. This is leading up from when you get back on the ship from port, as well as leading back down from the promenade itself. Then on deck 4, you have your main dining room. This is going to be the traditional dining, as well as your Absolute Zero. So that's basically your deck 4. Deck 3, you're going to have at the aft end, you're going to have the dining room. This is going to be your My Time dining conference center for anyone who has a conference on the ship, as well as the bottom end of the music hall. So the music hall is going to be 2 decks, similar how it is on the Quantum class ships. And then you also have your medical center and the front end of the Royal Theater. Followed by deck 2, which is just going to be your gangways, escalators up from the gangways. And then, well, you don't see it right now, but the I-95 here for staff is just running through. So that basically encompasses all of the deck plans for the Icon of the Seas.